وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we are blessed in this month of Ramadan to be in Ramadan first and foremost, and to have this opportunity for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our topic today is being a visionary Muslim. Being a visionary Muslim. And in general, all Muslims should be planners, and Muslims should always have a vision, should always be concerned about their self-development as well as concerned about others, their family, their community, and mankind. And Muslims should always have constant goals and aims and objectives and strong determination. Now, what is vision, someone might ask? From a linguistic perspective, we know that vision is similar to eyesight, and it usually means a far eyesight. It could be a forecast, it could be a foresight, where someone visions something far away. And there's a relation to the actual meaning of that, where someone sees a world in the future that is different to the world today. And he believes in that vision. He believes in what he can see in the future, a world that is the ideal world for him. He wants to see a world that perhaps is a world that is different, and a world that is good. And this is what he believes in, and this is what he's going to live for the rest of his life to try to change in this world and try to achieve. So it could be a world where there is no poverty, a world where there is no injustice, a world where Muslims are proud of their identity. This is a vision that is personal to someone, and he wants to work during his life to try to achieve this vision. It is from our Islamic teachings to promote being visionary, being hardworking, being optimistic, being good planners. And all Muslims should have one vision in common. This is the vision that even the prophets had, alayhim salam. And this vision is that we all want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is pleased with us, and we live in paradise with the prophets, with the Siddiqeen, with our families in Jannah. This should be a vision for all of us, that we want to enter paradise and we want to save ourselves from punishment. However, if vision was like a big circle, inside that circle is a smaller layer. So there could be two visions here. The first and the biggest and the ultimate vision is to enter paradise. However, the vision inside that smaller layer is your personal vision, where it's your worldly vision, we can call it, that will become your token to meeting your bigger vision. And this could be personal to each one of us. This vision, we want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, Ya Allah, you blessed me with wealth and health, and you blessed me with a body and a mind. This is what I did for your sake. And it's important to identify and to point out that every single one of us has a particular blessing that is exclusive to that person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives each person something unique, something special that someone else doesn't have. It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you will have something that your sibling doesn't have, and vice versa. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "I'malu فَكُلٌّ مُيَسِّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ." Do the actions, each one of you will be guided to what he is best for. Each one of you will be guided to what he is created for. Each one of you will be guided to his position in society, his purpose in life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you even in your vision. What is required from you is the actions, and in the path and the cause that you are destined for will be guided to you. So when we look and Of course, this type of lesson is becoming very popular now under the subject of self-development, leadership, management, and people are spending thousands of pounds to get training in these types of subjects because it changes their lives. But when we look at the life of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we will find that he led the most productive life and he was the most visionary person. And if we too follow his example and follow his steps and his sunnah, we will find in our own lives many transforming developments and improvements happening. And he sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he's our role model in every single way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. In the Messenger of Allah, in the Prophet of Allah, is a perfect example, a perfect role model for those who hope to meet Allah on the last day and for those who frequently remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you will find just something very simple, his sleeping patterns, how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to sleep and how he used to wake up. You'll find just in that small habit and example, it can make your life much more productive. Now, studies show that three qualities that many and most successful people have in common is number one, they sleep early and they wake up early. Number two is they have a clear vision in their life. And number three, they are positive people. And similarly, three attributes that exist within failures, opposite of successful people, are three opposite attributes. Number one, they sleep late and they wake up late. Number two, they have no vision in their life. And number three, they are negative people. They always find problems and issues in everything. The first quality in sleeping early and waking up early is actually the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That after Salat al-Isha, between Salat al-Isha and his sleeping time was a short gap. And the companions radiallahu anhum, they would not go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam after Isha because it was known that this is not an appropriate time to approach the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the scholars, they actually said that after Salat al-Isha, it's actually makruh to stay up except in three occasions: seeking knowledge, or if guests came, or if you are married, you're spending time, good quality time with your spouse. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. That night has been created dark and quiet for you to rest, and the day has been created bright and full of energy for your livelihood, so that you can work. Now, according to scientific research, that the most productive time for the body and the mind is in the mornings. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, perhaps this could be the secret behind it, he informed us of the barakah, the blessings of the 1 hour after Fajr, that time after Salat al-Fajr. In a hadith narrated by Al-Ghamidi, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "O Allah, bless my ummah in the mornings." And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to, whenever he will send out troops or an army, he would always send them out at the beginning of the day. And the companions radiallahu anhum, even in their businesses, their worldly matters, they would send their caravans at the beginning of the day, and they will find as a result that they made more money and their wealth became blessed. So this is the barakah of the mornings. Recently, a sleep doctor, Dr. Michael Bruce, he authored a book called The Power of When, that studies the best time of the brain, of when it becomes productive and when it engages, and when is the best time the brain learns and picks up new things and so on. And he said that it's as if it's engineered, that its peak performance time is in the morning, subhanallah. So this is both modern research with the sunnah that is coming together to show how important um, the mornings are. And to add to that, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, Salat al-Fajr, he emphasized on the importance of Salat al-Fajr. And the reward of praying Fajr is as if you prayed the whole night. And he sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the hypocrites, they find it very hard to pray Fajr, because Fajr, it determines the sincere believer from the munafiq, from the hypocrite. Because the hypocrite, he loves his sleep more than salah. As for the believer, even though we all love our sleep and our comfort, they are willing to sacrifice that, and they are willing to give it up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, when a person wakes up for Fajr, we all know the hadith of the 3 knots and of shaitan and how he can break them. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam then said, فَأَصْبَحَ نَشِيطًا طَيِّبِ النَّفْسِ, that when a person, he wakes up Fajr, what will happen for the rest of his day? He will wake up nasheet. Nasheet means productive, energetic, active, full of energy. And طيب النفس, his heart, his soul feels good and pure and positive. So for the whole day, he's in a good mood. And he is nasheet, productive, just because of Salat al-Fajr. And the one who misses Fajr, وَإِلَّا أَصْبَحَ خَبِيثَ النَّفْسِ كَسْلَانٍ. The one who misses Fajr, he will wake up with a khabith nafs. His nafs, his soul, and his heart feels evil, feels dirty, feels impure, feels negative, feels like he's not in a mood. He just wants to debate people and argue. He doesn't want to spend time with his wife or children or his work. And to atrak kaslan, lazy, extremely lazy he will feel. And that includes if someone even slept for 10 hours, 12 hours, but he missed Salat al-Fajr, he will have a lazy and negative day. But the one who slept 6 hours, 5 hours, and woke up for Fajr, he will have a productive day, energetic day, and he will be in a good mood for the whole day. SubhanAllah. This could be the secret why. And so it's if we follow the sunnah of sleeping early, and of course we're not talking about Ramadan here. Ramadan is an exception because the nights are blessed, and the Prophet ﷺ كان يحيي ليلها. He said that he used to make the night alive. But we're speaking, generally speaking, just following the sunnah of the sleeping pattern, of sleeping early, waking up early. Imagine someone slept, okay, in a normal time. Let's say Salat al-Isha is at 10 p.m. He slept at 10 p.m. after Isha at 10 p.m. and then he woke up for Fajr 5 a.m. That's a good 7 hours sleep, which according to NHS is more than enough sleep. And then he does his wudu, he prays his sunnah, he prays Fajr, he gets the reward of the whole night. Then he stays up and reads Quran and does adhkar, which is your real nutrition. It's your real breakfast that will give you all the energy you need and all the strength. Like Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah, he used to do the adhkar in the mornings after Fajr, and he said, this is my nutrition. This is what gives me the energy. This is what makes me survive. And then he stays up, and remember we said that this time is blessed. So someone is memorizing Quran. That half an hour is equal to 5 hours, 6 hours. He memorizes easier, or he studies, or he learns something, or whatever he's doing at that time, it's blessed. Then he prays 2 units of prayers. Okay, now it's 6 o'clock, let's say. He just spent time in the masjid. The angels are making dua for him. He prays 2 units of prayers, which the Prophet ﷺ said will be an accepted Hajj and Umrah for him. He comes out of the masjid, it's 6 o'clock. He feels energetic, he feels good. He still has a good 3 hours. He doesn't want to go back to sleep because he feels energetic. He has 3 hours until work or studies or whatever. Imagine what you can do with that time. If every day you were just to write 10 pages with 3 hours, 10 pages, you would write a book every single month. You would write 300 pages every month, which is equal to a book. If you were to read within those 3 hours, then every week you will complete a book. You will become a genius within a few months or so. So this time is blessed. But what is happening today, unfortunately, is many of the Muslims are staying up very late. We are addicted to social media. We are addicted to Netflix, which is eating our sleep. You would watch a Netflix episode, it will finish, and then it will say next episode. You say, okay, one more episode is not going to harm. Then one more episode is not going to harm. Then this is eating your sleeping time. By the time it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you might affect your fajr. And by missing fajr, you will be sinful. So imagine someone misses fajr and then he wakes up lazy, he's not in the mood to go to work, his whole day is not going to be productive. So this is a very simple example of the Prophet ﷺ sunnah of how it can make us more productive. Now, the Prophet ﷺ is, uh, as we said, a visionary person, and he ﷺ had a vision, and his vision was very big, very great. He wanted to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he becomes the prophet with the most followers, the most amount of followers on the day of judgment. Now, the bigger your vision is, and the more you don't limit it to just your life, where your vision becomes, it lives after you, the better. Because a vision can be local, it can be small, or it can be worldwide. It depends on the vision that you set. So the Prophet ﷺ wanted to be the messenger with the most amount of followers. Now, during his lifetime, he didn't see that because he didn't have the most amount of followers. But today, he does have the most amount of followers in comparison to all other prophets. And on the day of judgment, he will meet Allah with the most amount of followers. Due to this big vision, this is what led him day and night to give da'wah. Allahumma ihdi qawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. To go to Ta'if, to go to even that Jewish boy just before his death. It goes to him to bring him to Islam. Due to his big vision, this led him to many plans, many hard work in order to make sure that this vision comes to light. The Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they were visionary people. They had a vision to spread Islam all over the world. And this is why within 30 years, they achieved that. The Roman Empire became Muslim. The Persian Empire became Muslim. Egypt, Syria, all of these countries that were Christian, they became Muslim. All the way to China. The companions went to China and they opened a mosque in China. Imagine when the Arabs at the time of the Prophet would say China, it was a metaphor as if we are. So even the scholars of Islam, that when they used to travel from one city to another, they would write volumes of books using their time wisely. Now, vision, brothers and sisters, it requires efforts, it requires planning, and it requires actions. As the quote says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So you must have a plan. And the Japanese, they said, a vision with no action is like a daydream. It's not real. You're just imagining. However, they said, action without a vision is a nightmare. Action without a vision is a nightmare. So someone doesn't know where he's going, doesn't know his purpose, he's going left and right. This is a complete nightmare. So my recommendation is that what we should do is we should write down our vision in life. And also we should write down our main responsibilities in life and write a aim, an objective behind each one. And then for each one, make a plan. So I'll give you an example. Our 4 main responsibilities in life is number 1, our ibadah, our worship for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, our families. Number 3, our careers and our studies for the young brothers and sisters. And number 4, our community. So the first one is your ibadah. What are your aims and objectives behind your ibadah? Your aims could be that you want to meet Allah and He's pleased with you. You want to be a pious person. You want to be a righteous person, a person who Allah forgives. Okay, now the question is, how are you going to achieve that? What are your plans? And then write them down. It could be that you will fast Monday and Thursdays, that you will pray your sunan prayers. You will give sadaqah occasionally. You will pray qiyam al-layl occasionally. You would read Quran daily. You would do your adhkar daily. You would be good to people. You'd be good to your parents, you would seek knowledge. Write a list of actions and then follow them so you can achieve that aim. Step 2, or aim number 2, your family. What do you want to achieve behind your family? You want your family to love Islam through you. How are you going to achieve that? By spending good quality time. Write that down. By spending time with my wife, by spending time with my children, spending time with my parents. Write that down. By doing lessons together. Write it down. By getting them gifts. Write it down. All of these ideas, write them down. The third is your career. First and foremost, what do you want behind your career? You want to become a doctor? You want to become an engineer? Ask yourself why. You want to become a doctor because you want to help people. You want to save people's lives. That is a good aim. How are you going to become a doctor? Through studying, through hanging around maybe with people who are studious, by meeting other doctors and professionals, by watching related subjects, films, and so on. You make a plan for that as well. And then your community. What do you want to achieve behind your community? You want to unite your community. You want to give da'wah to non-Muslims. You want to present a good image of Islam. You want to establish the religion of Islam in the place where you are. All of these are aims. How are you going to achieve that? Through volunteering, through donating, through being involved in initiatives, through creating projects. All of these ideas, write them down and try to execute them. I'll end with 2 last points because time is nearly up. I wanted to mention an example, a quick case study of Japan and South Korea. Okay. Japan 50, 60 years ago was a poor country, especially after the Second World War, especially after, coming out of the war, the nuclear weapons that were dropped in Japan that wiped up a whole city, turned people into ash. They had no strong economy, no trade, so they suffered. But within 50 years, and today we have one of the strongest economies in the world. How was that achieved? In short, they had a visionary nation that had a vision to change Japan to make it the most advanced country. And after that vision, they had determination, and they had positivity, and they have self-belief that we can do it. So, their mentality was that if he can do it, I can do it. And if no one else has done it before, then I'm going to be the first person to do it. This was their mentality. Today, perhaps in some of the Muslim countries, you ask the same question to someone, he will say, if he can do it, khalas, let him do it. If he can do it, let that person do it then. And if no one is able to do it, then how am I going to be able to do it then? Doesn't make sense. So they transformed their country. South Korea as well. It was a very poor country 40, 50 years ago. If you look at pictures of South Korea 50 years ago and show it to the Korean youth, they will say that's not Korea, that's Vietnam. That can't be us. Because of the country that they live in now is so different. And again, what was their reason? They didn't have natural resources, they didn't become rich through oil, but they had human resources. And they had the concept of work and achieving and hard work and planning. This is why they manufactured and invented cars and many inventions for the world. And they became one of the fastest growing and strongest economies in the world through human resources, as well as being anti-corruption. Corruption is one of the worst crimes in Korea because it destroys human development. I wanted to mention the last point, but time does not permit. So perhaps in another occasion, inshallah ta'ala, we can discuss the topic further. And if there are any questions and answers of matters that I did not cover, of course, I wouldn't be able to cover everything in half an hour. But please do, inshallah, feel free to ask questions.
Oh, that was fantastic. Jazakallah, Shaykh. We've got two really interesting questions that have come through, so I'm just going to go straight in. Salam Sheikh, Jazakallah khair for a very nice reminder. I'm very interested in what you said about each of us having a special gift. How do we go about recognizing this gift in our children, or do we leave it to Allah?
Okay, I think the hadith is clear. It says, "اعملوا فكل ميسر لما خلق له." I'm very close to one sheikh who does a lot of humanitarian work, and he opened many organizations. He's a chairman of a big organization. And once I asked him, "What did you study?" And he said, "I studied Sharia. I studied Islamic studies." And I said to him, "That's strange because, you know what?" And I said to him, "How comes you don't give talks and give khutbahs and lessons? You know, if you studied Islamic studies, but you're doing humanitarian work and charity and so on." And he said, كُلٌّ مُيَسَّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ, because everyone will be guided to what he is best for. This is what Allah guided me towards. So every person will know his blessing, because um, you will plan and you will work hard, but it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who is making your cause or the path that you are destined for easy for you. So, you know, you become a doctor. It was through your studying, yes, it was through your efforts and decisions, but it was Allah all that time who made medicine interesting to you. It was Allah all that time who put love in your heart to helping others, who gave you that character to be patient, to serving others, and so on. So it was Allah who guided you to it through, of course, your actions, because the hadith says, "i'malu," do the actions. And it's similar to your children as well. You will find from an early age, of course, what your children are interested in comparison to other things. So, as an example, you might find a 6-year-old, 7-year-old having deep conversations with his father and asking many questions about countries. Which country is stronger, this country or that country? Which country is bigger, this one or that one? What's the capital of this country? What's the population of this country? And the father is trying to find out the answers and so on. What this shows in the boy is, number one, he's curious. And curiosity in a young person is a sign that he will become a scholar in the future. Because curiosity is a very good quality to have in a young person. If the person doesn't ask questions, he's not interested in, you know, learning and finding out new information, then that shows that he's not going to be a scholar, or someone who's you know, interested too much in becoming an intelligent person, perhaps. So this shows his curiosity, and number two, this shows that this person is going to be into social science, perhaps politics, perhaps geography, perhaps history, perhaps international studies, development studies, humanitarian. He's definitely not going to be a computer technician or into IT. A young person might enjoy computers, and he's so good at fixing computers, and he's so good at coding and program. So you will find from a young age that your son or daughter is interested in certain things over others, and what you need to do is you need to support them in what they want to do. You know, don't force them to be what you want them to be. Okay, sometimes we want our children to become a sheikh. We want them to become an Islamic teacher and so on. If he's interested in that, alhamdulillah, fantastic, support him, push him. But if he feels like that's not what he wants to do, he can still benefit the ummah in other ways. Imam Malik rahimahullah, he once said, don't become shuyukh. Stop trying to study to become imams and scholars. We have enough. Study medicine. Because when our women are given birth, they are going to the Christians and the Jews for medicine and for help in these matters. Where are the Muslims?
It's on connectivity.
people and the ummah, you can benefit the ummah in different ways. You can benefit the ummah in different ways.
Sheikh, you just cut off for a little while there, but inshallah, I think everyone got your message. Only for a couple of seconds. Got another
Yeah,
couple. Sorry,
my
go on.
point was that you can benefit the ummah through different ways, not just through becoming a scholar.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Got another great question. I seem more productive in the evening. Is there such a thing as a morning person and an evening person, or will I be even more productive in the morning?
I don't think, generally speaking, of course, there could be a few exceptions, but our bodies and our minds has been created to work better during the day, because the fitrah is the fitrah of our brains that when we see light, it makes us awake already. Okay, it's just simple example. If someone is sleeping, and the curtains are open and there's bright light and there's noise, it's difficult to sleep. But at night time, when it's dark, it's quiet. Naturally you're able to sleep. So we as insan, Bani Adam, we're not nocturnal creatures, because Allah didn't design us like that. Allah did create nocturnal animals like the owls and the other creatures, okay? But how did Allah design them? You'll find even their eyes are big, and they're designed in a way to make them adapt to that type of environment. But as insan, and that's why you find that some of, and please forgive me if anyone has that type of job, but some of the worst jobs is night shift jobs. When you work at night and you're sleeping in the day. And many people, even studies are showing how much it affects their life, how much they suffer because they can't sleep. The only sleep they get is during the day, and it's noisy. They might have family, it's bright, it's not good quality sleep. So even 4 hours of good quality sleep at night time is better than 6-7 hours of sleep during the day, because that's what the body is designed, and the mind is designed to rest better at that time.
Many of us are not working in the current environment with COVID-19, or otherwise have more time as we're working from home. What 3 things would you suggest to utilize this time more productively?
Yeah, very good question. Very good question. I would suggest that a person should never have too much free time, because there's so much that we can do that doesn't allow us to have too much free time. The more free time you have, the more it's a reason for shaitan to come and make us bored, and through being bored, it might lead us to sins. And now, one of the best ways to fill up your time is through learning, seeking knowledge. And so if you don't know Arabic, perhaps study Arabic, because Arabic is a key to understanding the Quran. And Allah ordered us to ponder over the Quran. And if one of the ways for me to do that is to learn Arabic, then perhaps it becomes an obligation for me to study Arabic. Quran as well, to try to memorize Quran, try to seek knowledge, and try to have a balance. This is an important one, a balanced schedule. Make time as well for leisure. Make time for sports. Make times for breaks, for rest, because you don't want to burn out. Too much of everything is not good. You're allowed to have some leisure time. And the companions, radiallahu ta'ala anhum, they will sit with the Prophet ﷺ and listen to a reminder, and the Iman will be so strong. He will be talking about Jannah and Jahannam, and they will cry and be emotional. Then that same day, they will be spending time with their family and laughing and enjoying themselves. So some of them thought they are hypocrites. How can we be with the Prophet ﷺ a few hours ago crying, and now we are with our families laughing and smiling? Is this wrong? So they asked the Prophet ﷺ. He said, no, this is not wrong. ولكن ساعة 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 لربك ساعة لنفسك. However, 1 hour, 1 hour. 1 hour to yourself, 1 hour to your Lord. 1 hour do your ibadah, do qira'at al-Quran, do dhikr, and 1 hour do things that are permissible and that are mubah, if it's with family. Mubah meaning permissible, and leisure. So if we have a timetable, which I strongly recommend, where we have plans for our ibadah, we put it in a timetable, plans with our family. Now with the Zoom, we can do all of us like a weekly Quran halaqa with our family, or daily even, and ponder over certain verses, recite Quran together, give reminders with each other. Similarly, with our work from at home, and to our community, volunteer with organizations, charities. There's many organizations, especially including the one I work with. We need volunteers. We need people's ideas. We need people's support. So you can be helping the ummah through your time. And the Prophet ﷺ said, free time is a blessing. Two things that we are not grateful for, and we don't give enough thanks for, is free time and good health. So Allah bless you with good health and free time. Use it for the sake of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Hey, I think you've answered this question, but let me just repeat it. Sometimes I feel like a wafer in this world. How can you find your purpose in this life?
Sometimes, sorry?
Wayfarer. I think it's just someone who floats. I'm not. How can you find your purpose in this life?
No. So in other words, how do you know what is your best position and so on? One of the ways I would recommend is to get advice from someone who knows you well and loves you as well, okay, who cares for you, and knows the qualities that you have and can advise you, even if it's more than one person, because you only have two eyes. Most of the time, you're not looking at yourself, but people around you, they have more eyes than you, and they can see your potential. They can see what you're good at, what you're not good at. So ask people to give honest feedback. As I say, sometimes you never know what you're good at until you're asked to do something. So don't be afraid to try new things. And another very important matter as well is go out of your comfort zone all the time. So there are three circles that we are always in. Number one is comfort zone. Most of us are in comfort zone, and most of us hate to come out of it, and we never want to come out of it. Whatever makes us feel uncomfortable, even though a lot of these things are good for us, we say no to it, and we want to stay to in our comfort zone. So, for example, traveling to a university outside your area is going to be better for you, but because you're not comfortable doing that, you say no to it. Going to a different country, living in a different country, and speaking another language is not comfortable for you. You're afraid that people might laugh at you. So for 10, 15 years, you don't talk that language. You missed out on a language. The first couple of times, it's going to be difficult. Then you're going to improve and learn. After the comfort zone is the fear zone. We always need to put ourselves in a deep end, throw ourselves in the ocean, and taste a bit of fear. We need to face our fears. As soon as you fight your fears, you're going to enter another zone called development zone, success zone. That's when you will achieve so much. That's when you know what you're good at. If you're afraid, you fear to speak in front of people, force yourself to do it until you're not afraid of it anymore. Practice makes perfect. When you are afraid of heights and flights, keep going to airplanes and flights and do mountain trekking until that fear is gone. The first time, everything is scary, so any challenges that you have, as a principle, Muslims should not fear anything or anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And fear is one of the biggest destroyers, subhanallah. Fear is what destroys the person's success. So always jump out of your comfort zone. Always try something new. So long as it's halal and pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, don't care about anyone else. And then that's when you would know what you're good at. If you're not willing to come out of your comfort zone and you're going to be lazy all the time, you're not going to know what you're good at. So try new things, and that's why parents should always, from a young age, get their children involved in different things, to try different things, so that you can, unleash their qualities and their potential.
Shaykh Omar Hajaj, that was a beautiful answer that you gave to that question. We're coming to the end of our precious time, and I just want to say Jazakallah for you to giving us your time and answering the questions so eloquently. I would like to offer you the opportunity as well, because I think you said you had a final open point that you wanted to kind of end your talk with, or we can pick it up inshallah another time. So it's entirely up to you on what you want to do. And then once you're ready, then you can end the session with a dua.
Okay, sure. Yeah, last pieces of advice, I'll try to, note them down quickly, inshallah. Always prioritize in life. Think of the things that you need, not what you want. Number two, don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. Rather, master and focus on something. إن الله يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا أن يتقنه. Do it with perfection. Thirdly, choose the right spouse for those who are not married, because they will support you in your vision. Number four, work hard, play hard. Do not burn out. Take breaks and holidays sometimes to revive yourself. Number five, realize you are a human, not a robot. A robot is programmed to do things A to Z. We won't do that all the time. We are humans, we have feelings, we become sad sometimes, happy, sometimes tired, demotivated. So you're always going to be motivated and demotivated, peak performance and low performance. And beware of sins, because sins is what removes the blessings in your life, and this is what makes you unproductive. It removes the blessings in your time, your wealth, and your health. And Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be with my beloved brothers. And I hope, inshallah, after lockdown, I hope to visit Bromley and Al-Emaan Center, inshallah ta'ala.
Definitely, inshallah, we would love to have you and have you do a talk in person. That would be a great honor for us. Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We are over, so I'm going to kind of again to yourself. Do you want to just end the session with a dua?
In Arabic, yeah?
In Arabic or English is entirely up to you.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتقبل منا أعمالنا يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك المتقين الصادقين الصالحين المحسنين يا رب العالمين. ونعوذ بك أن نكون من الظالمين، ونعوذ بك أن نكون من الفاسقين. اللهم نعوذ بك من الضلال بعد الهدى، ونعوذ بك من الجهل بعد العلم، ونعوذ بك من الكفر بعد الإيمان. اللهم ثبتنا على صراطك المستقيم يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى ويسر لنا أمورنا كلها يا رب العالمين. اللهم كن بعون إخواننا المستضعفين المساكين في اليمن وفي سوريا وفي فلسطين وفي بورما وفي كشمير وفي جميع بلاد المسلمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ألف بين قلوب المسلمين ووحد صفوفهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So just a reminder, so Shaykh Mudafa will be doing his recitation in the next 5 minutes. Inshallah, when he joins, we will kick off. I just want to kind of take this moment just to say again, a big thank you for everyone for joining these talks. Thank Allah for this opportunity. We've been very fortunate. We've brought students of knowledge to the community. But more than anything, as in people have been listening in live on the YouTube sessions, and also on top of that, listening offline as well. It's been great to hear some of the feedback that we've had. So Jazakallah khair, just knowing that everyone's been listening has been a great bonus. On top of that, please, we would love for you to share the videos and the Al-Emaan YouTube channel to your friends and family. It's important for us to spread this knowledge rather than put it in a locked room. As Muslims, we should be disseminating and sharing everything across the Ummah. So we are planting these seeds across our communities. So please continue to share the YouTube channel, the talks, the links, etc. And this is also a great help for the masjid. And of course, please like our YouTube page as well. Jazakallah khair.